What is up, y'all? How was your guys' week? It was a pretty wild week for Pokemon, that is for sure. And we'll start it out kind of with some of the crazy news, and we'll go into some of our pickups of the week. And the pickups of the week kind of lean into the whole craziness that's going on right now in the hobby. But before we get into that, I just wanted to show these new 30th items that the TCG released, and oh my gosh, this is incredible. I don't usually care about this kind of product, but man, this is some sweet stuff. We got our little box there that we can hold our cards, the card sleeves, and at some point I might actually pick this hat up and you might see me on a live wearing it because that is some epic merch. So finally we have something I feel like that's worth getting excited about with the 30th. So pretty sweet. I mean, this is obviously geared towards us millennials, and it's exciting to see that for the 30th. So I think we might actually be in for a banger 30th anniversary. But that kind of leads into my whole, I wouldn't say it's my concern, but it's kind of proving to me that the market's just it's getting too hot again. We're kind of repeating what happened last year, and a lot of the prices on sealed product is starting to run up, and um, I've been having more luck on my vending machine that's in the town where I live. And recently, though, I haven't been finding anything. And so I usually just go to my LGS, see if they have any singles. And beginning of this week, he was bone dry. He had nothing. So I was striking out on the vending machine. Singles are getting eaten up too. So kind of at that point where I'm like, well, I guess I'll just chill out and not really grab anything. And I think it was Wednesday this week, I had to swing by the grocery store that has the vending machine near the restaurant that I own, and I had to buy some stuff there. And when I walked in, there was a bunch of scalpers just camped out, waiting on the machine to refresh, and they were clearing it out. And just your classic 50, 60-year-old guys where they're unemployed, and I mean, they're selling cards, so I guess it's some kind of employment. So at that point, I knew that I don't think I'm going to be seeing much product around them locally. So unless I start doing the Facebook and TCG player, eBay, but I'm not really that desperate to buy sealed product. So it was a little discouraging. I had to hurry out of there, and I figured I'd just swing by the LGS just one more time while I had a little bit of free time this week. And my LGS actually got a huge restock from someone that just opens a ton of cards. It's insane. Like he had almost 3 binders completely full of cards. So definitely went a little crazy. So we'll go over some of the singles because I definitely think right now singles are almost as valuable as sealed in some instances. And that's why it'll also show kind of why I think this market doesn't make sense and we really could be in another bubble. So first I'll just go over some of the cards that I picked up, and I'm pretty excited about them. Like I honestly wanted to buy more, but I had to cut myself off because there's just so much stuff coming out that I don't want to spend too much money, especially on singles. But here we have our Rocket Zapdos, and this is from Celebrations. And right now with Celebrations and the 30th coming up, I feel like right now is just a good time to pick up any 25th anniversary stuff, especially ones that you just like. And I really love the Rocket stuff, so I couldn't resist. It was only $3, and it's right around the price there. And graded doesn't really go for anything crazy, but one that will add to our collection. You know, I think it's fun to still add stuff to our collection and keeps keeps me motivated and prevents me from becoming too discouraged, especially right now when scalpers are going crazy, just camping out all day. So definitely a cool card. This one, Shift Tree, and this one, Temporal. Yeah, Temporal Forces. I am a big Shift Tree fan, and I love this card. You got the C dots in there, so pretty sweet. Nothing crazy, $7. So another one of those that I just picked up because I think the card is sweet, and sometimes collecting what you think is cool pays out in the long haul. I mean, might not be one of those cards that runs up crazy, but you never know. Sweet card. I also picked up King Gambit just because I love King Gambit and I love Bisharp and Poniard, so couldn't resist. $3 card, so nothing crazy, but the art's on it's really cool. Promo, definitely really targeting promos right now and celebrations. So really cool card. I need to get the one, I think it's in black, but I would love to pick up all the Bisharp from the black, but love to get all the Bisharps in the King Gambits from the SV era. So it's one of my little side projects, so nothing crazy. I picked up the Lance's Charizard V from the celebrations, and this one's pretty cool. It's not like my favorite Charizard, but it's pretty sweet. Love it. This one is a 10, actually goes for 108, so it's a grading play if you're into that. I'm definitely not looking to do any grading, especially with PSA, and we'll talk a little bit about that, especially with the drama with them raising prices, but kind of one of those things that was inevitable. No one should really be surprised by that. We also picked up a Gengar Cosmo Hollow, and this one has been talked about for a while, but I think he had like 3 or 4, but I'm not really looking to make crazy graded plays. I just grabbed one that looked pretty clean, and there's so many of these out there that I don't really feel the need to pick up a ton. If I see them here and there, I'll grab it. And, maybe at some point when PSA slows down, maybe make some graded plays. So this one almost goes for 200 and a 10, so pretty crazy, but it's awesome how it looks like he's licking the stamp there. So really cool card. If you can find any clean ones, I'd highly recommend grabbing it, especially with Gengar being in the limelight right now and always a popular Pokemon. I also picked up the Lugia V from Silver Tempest, and I just can't believe that this is a common rare. It's such a good card, and it really captures Lugia for me and takes me back to the second movie. So this one just over 100 at PSA 10, so nothing crazy for a grade, but I definitely just think it's a really good looking card. So couldn't resist. Yeah, $7. And this is where we get into the good stuff. So picked up 2 of the Snorlax Scarlet and Violet promos and got both of them for 17. So paid a little over market, but with 151 going out of rotation here pretty soon, and the ETBs being potentially short printed, it's a really good time to pick them up because we could really see these start to run up the next few months. So, and the 10 is only 171, so nothing crazy. I think raw it's definitely good, and you got the Pidgey and the Diglett in there, so great card. Well, this is one that I was really happy that he had. I finally picked up a Charmander promo from, I believe it's Obsidian in the ETB, and this is by far my favorite of the starter cards. The other 2, Squirtle, Bulbasaur being in, I believe it's Temporal Forces. So this one's awesome though. Such a cute card, and Charmander just looks like he wants to eat the Pidgey. Pidgey's giving it a little side eye. Such a good card. PSA 10, yeah, north of 300. So great card to invest in. So really happy to be picking that up. And glad that I was able to grab something. Otherwise, it would have just been a chill week. And right now, we're definitely kind of at that point where we're kind of waiting. And you can see we're down 6%. And a lot of that has to do with the perfect order ETPs. Those four, that set is gonna struggle, but it's okay. You know, you can't have all the sets be winners. And at the end of the day, though, if you pick it up, you'll be fine. It has Pokemon on it. You know, you might not 5x your investment, but eventually you'll 2x it, and you know that in of itself is huge win for any investment, is to double your money. So I gave away a couple of my packs to my kids on Valentine's Day. My son at school had a glow stick explode and it got in his eye. So there was this whole huge thing. He was all sad. So gave him and the other kids a couple packs to open up. So make him feel a little better. So it's part of the reason why this has come down a little bit. So nothing too crazy, just another week. And you can see our month, we're actually up 5%, so nothing too crazy. And the product that's been moving the most is our Prismatic Evolution Elite Trainer box. It's up almost 4%, and this is really the one that everyone needs to be paying attention to, because still don't know if we're getting another reprint. And our Team Rocket's Moltres up 3.5%. Phantasmal Flames kind of came down for a little bit and then came up 0.5%. And I heard speculation that Phantasmal Flames booster boxes are potentially getting a reprint, or that the Pokemon vending machines got a restock. So I wonder if that's what a lot of the scalpers were after, were these booster boxes. So just keep an eye on that. If there is a reprint, restock, that'd be a great time to pick up more of the booster boxes, because this is definitely one of the booster boxes that I'm targeting, just because that Charizard is so good that I think it's definitely worth investing into. And with it going out of rotation in 2008, it might kind of miss a little bit of the new printing facilities reprint window, but we'll see. I definitely think that Charizard is really breaking people's brains a little bit, and they are underestimating how popular it is, but it is an insane Charizard. And it's pretty cool that we picked up the Radiant Charizard when we did, and it's gone up almost 13%, so interesting seeing it move. I believe some of others Crown Zenith stuff is starting to move, so could be linked to that, and people are starting to pick and choose the more popular sets in Sword and Shield. We kind of called that out last week, that Fusion Strike was starting to come down a little bit, and probably be a good time to pick that up instead of going for Destined Rivals, and where we know for sure that the Sword and Shield reprints aren't coming and it's out of rotation. So there's still some opportunity with Sword and Shield. I'm not huge into Sword and Shield, so we definitely won't be investing into any of that. But some of the singles, I think they're fun. They're cool. I think collecting singles is good as long as you're not overpaying, and you know you're targeting like promos and cards that potentially have more scarcity and value in grading, and obviously Pokemon that are popular. And we kind of going over like top 10s of the more popular Pokemon, and we did a series. We just started it. We're going over the top starters, and we've done a video on Charizard and Blastoise, and then later this week we're going to do one on Venusaur. So keep an eye out for that, and it's really fun going through some of those older cards and seeing how some of them are actually very affordable. So keep an eye out for that video. And then we have our Snorlax here. up almost 7%. The Lugia V up 13.5. The Pokemon Day 2026 collection actually kind of found its bottom there. So still think this is good. Good buy. I mean, I wouldn't really look to get more than like a case if you're really like into that. Just because anything with 2026 is gonna be great, and it has Pikachu in it, so it's always good. It's too bad it's a reprint of Pikachu, so definitely be aware that that is a reprint. It's not a new one. So while we're there, and Surgeon Spark's only up 1%. Journey loose booster packs are up 8%. So I think it's always interesting to kind of look at the loose booster packs just to kind of see how those are moving, because I feel like that kind of indicates how things are moving with rip and shippers, and maybe people are starting to want Journey together, or they're just looking to open anything, especially cheap. So interesting there. Surging's up 6%. Mega Evolutions up just over 5%. At Zapdos, pretty chilled. Yeah, nothing crazy. Some of the things that are moving down though, these are pretty small downward movements. Nothing crazy. We did see the Ascended come down 1%. So I think this thing might go up more. I mean, Ascended's in a really interesting place, and we'll kind of dive into that here in a second, because it is a very strange set that people are trying to compare it to Prismatic. And I just think that people are going to be very disappointed once they realize that the ship has sailed for Prismatic and how fast we're going to see the product balloon up, because people are definitely underestimating it and they're kind of being silly about the gains. But we'll go over that here in a sec, and just going to point out our Team Rocket's Moltres EX UPC is down 3%, nothing crazy, but Perfect Order Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes are down 15%, and I think we're going to just continue to see this slide down to 257. I've seen them down on eBay around that $100 mark. So I mean, they definitely could hit that, and if you're able to hit MSRP with any of the product, I mean, you definitely, I would at least get a case. Call it good, sit on it 5-10 years, you'll be fine. So it really just depends on how willing you are to let your money sit, but I would definitely not go heavily into it. But it'll be one that you could easily build a case, or maybe even buy a case of the booster boxes. So definitely keep an eye on Perfect Order, see how low it can go. But Ascended Heroes is kind of in an interesting place here, and if we go to the prices, you can already see a lot of it. Like the Gengar's down 13%. The Charizard Y is honestly the card that I think is the best one in the set. Like, I think that Charizard actually looks insane, and I could see it being the top card here pretty soon, because I think the Mega Gengar is a little overrated, but it is what it is. Everyone loves Gengar, and people were saying it's better than the Mega Charizard, and I just think that's ridiculous. Right now, it's just benefiting from the scarcity of product, and that's kind of the surprising part with these prices already coming down so sharply. It's just you got to be tired with just spending this much money. And the End Zoroark is cool though. That one definitely. And same with Mega Feraligatr. I think these two are kind of the sleepers. Same with Mewtwo. Yeah, I don't know. The Pikachu's fine. I'd have to see it in person how much texture there actually is, because if it doesn't really have that much of a texture, it almost just looks like an IR, that Pikachu. But pretty cool. The other interesting part was the sealed. Is we come down here to the loose pack, it's already down at $12. So pretty interesting that with no product coming onto the market as of now that it's down to $12 when everyone was saying it's going to be 15, 25, and I just think that's kind of going to show how people are getting smarter. They're not willing to pay these absurd prices, and I do think people are starting to kind of realize like, hey, Prismatic's going to be going out of rotation here pretty soon. And I mean, of course, it's a year, but a year goes by really quick, especially when we have the 30th going and then the new generation. So it's going to be really, really crazy, and it's going to move super fast. And that's part of what we're going to wrap up the video with at the end. And before we get into that, though, one of the topics I kind of wanted to talk about was kind of the comparison between the booster boxes and singles, and the big thing is like it's just we are might not be a bubble per se, like we definitely, it is bubbly, but there's a lot of FOMO, there's a lot of euphoria, and you can see that we topped out here at 580 and it's now down to 550. And I don't know if we're going to see it like break the 600. Like I think we could, unless we actually see a booster box reprint of Phantasmal, or we see the reprint for Destined Rivals. I think that would really, taper that off. But the reason why I really think that we could be in some serious trouble here is because of this single here. So this is insane. I can't believe that this basic Mega Charizard that goes for $3 raw, if you can get this thing in a 10, people are selling and buying it for $130. And to me, I'm like, we're cooked. Like that is mental. Like $250, 120, like what are we doing? And this is why I kind of put up the whole, debate, like sealed or singles. I mean, you send in 20 of these Charizards that potentially could be tens. I mean, you just printed, $100 bills. And that to me is just insane. Like, obviously, if you try to do that play now, come 4-6 months, this might not be selling for what it is now, but the fact that people are even paying that right now is absurd. So that's why I think right now you really could make money off of singles and invest into singles right now, because the whole market is kind of just out of whack. So just be really careful on what you're spending your money on. There's a lot of people entering the hobby that don't know what they're doing, and just because a lot of people are buying Destined Rivals at 550, 580 doesn't mean that they know what they're doing and that you should be doing that. And just because people are coming in here and buying a PSA 10 Mega Charizard EX at 130, 200 does not mean that you should. So really just be aware of your money and what you're spending it on, because the reason why you really should be avoiding these kind of purchases is because we have so much coming up. Like right now, we have the Ninja Spinner set getting revealed, and for me, I'm more excited about this than Ascended, just because Ascended is such a big set and it's so expensive that something like this could be, pretty cool, pretty investable. Greninja is really popular, but I still wouldn't go insane because we have this revealed here, and this honestly is incredible. This is another one of the things that's got me really hyped, and all these singles are incredible. The starters, having all the video game references in the background, it's just so good. So I'm really looking forward to trying to collect all the starters. Obviously getting them sealed would be nice, but it's one that I wouldn't try to, just because I don't want to take this away from other collectors. So I'm definitely going to try to just collect as many of these as possible and maybe try to grade them, just because I really don't want to take away from the celebration of the hobby. Like, I think really I'll try to get 3 of them, just so that way it's like, oh yeah, you could potentially have, all the starters in here. So really excited. And the other thing that's crazy and why you shouldn't be wasting your money is because we did get it confirmed that the Abyss Eye and the Storm Elmeralda are going to be coming out. And I think that this set is going to be a booster box set with the Rayquaza. So we potentially could see something, maybe not rival, but it really could be on the same level, or at least just below our Rayquaza set from Sword and Shield. But obviously that one had Umbreon in it, so, and then some of the other evolutions. But I'm more of a fan of Mega Rayquaza, so I'm definitely going to be saving as much of my money as possible for this set, especially if the artwork has Mega Rayquaza on it. That's going to be insane. So hopefully that, we get a little more of an announcement here. But I mean, yeah, like he said in this article, 11, 13 months in advance. Like, that's crazy. So, but other than that, the only thing that I'd really try to be going after is the Prismatic Evolutions booster bundle, because I mean they're down to $57. There's that whole thing with a lot of the bundles at, I believe it was Sam Club, that was linked up with the surprise box, and the booster bundles weren't sealed. They just had a sticker on it. So I don't know if this price is factoring that in quite yet. So we could see these run back up again. And if we don't see another reprint soon, I mean, this really could balloon out of control pretty fast. So we'll kind of see how the market reacts to that news that they weren't sealed, because with it just being a sticker, the resellability is pretty low unless you keep it sealed up with the surprise box. So we'll definitely keep an eye out on that, and it makes me a little more anxious about buying as many of these bundles before it gets out of control. And kind of see what happened to 151 last year. And same with the Prismatic Evolutions Elite Trainer box. I'm really just waiting to get as many gift cards as I can and just absorb that, because I really don't want to spend 120, 150 on these. It really is getting to the point where I'm just have to let it go. I was hopeful that they'd get down to $70, and that never happened. And that's part of the reason why this whole stupid argument about if you invested in Prismatic, then you're dumb because you only saw like 2% gains. And the reason why you only saw 2% gains is because they printed so much Prismatic, and it feels like they only printed Prismatic this year. And if any other set got the same treatment that Prismatic did, it would be worth negative money. Like, if they hit Destined Rivals with as much product as they did with Prismatic, no one would be going crazy for Destined Rivals right now. And any other set, I just don't think would survive the amount of reprints that Prismatic did. And that's just because Prismatic is probably one of the most unique sets that we've ever gotten. Like, I'm not saying it's the best set that we've ever gotten, but it's definitely the most unique, in which you can get all of the evolutions inside of a single god pack. That beats any other god pack that's out there. Ascended Heroes, yeah, you get the mega attack rares and then the SIRs, but that's all random. It's not like, oh my gosh, I just got, like, what would you even compare? I got every single starter SAR or SIR, like, or all mythical Pokemon. It's just one of those that it honestly feels like Pokemon captured lightning in a bottle, and they definitely recognize that, holy crap, like this set is, a home run. So I hope that they print more of it this year, because that'll give, that last little opportunity, especially for the people that waited. I was unfortunately part of that, but at the same time, a big reason is just because I never saw it, like, on the shelves anywhere, and anytime I did see it, it was already priced up to 150, and that was back when they were, still $190. But at that point, I was like, oh, it's gonna come down to 70 at least, and the regular ETVs didn't even come close to that. So I think the biggest thing really is just make up for yourself, like what you think is worth investing into. Don't worry about other people, just the people that are making it. So like either your team Prismatic or team Destined Rivals, like that's just all silly and goofy, because at the end of the day, we are all just here for Pokemon. And like for me, next year is definitely gonna be when I'm really gonna be looking at Destined Rivals. So um, but everyone has their own timeline, everyone has their own financial situation, and you just got to make a decision for yourself whether or not you know you should be investing in certain products, or building your collection with Pokemon that you like. And for me, just looking at this box, I mean, that it's just definitely special, and I think it's one of the things that a lot of people are going to regret not investing into. So I hope that you guys are able to get some of the scented ETBs this weekend, though. And I was fortunate enough to get the email. Well, I didn't get the email, I got the money pulled out of my bank account for the scented PC ETBs. So hopefully we'll be getting that, and we should be getting a ETB from my LGS, and debating on if for the 27th, or not the 27th, yeah, on the 27th, if I should do a box opening of the ETB, and we'll kind of review the like not the packaging, but going over some of the stuff inside of it, and really just doing it for fun, kind of just see if we can pull anything, look at the quality, because I heard that the cards are kind of thinner and flimsier, so it'd be kind of fun to check that out and see what the printing looks like. And maybe we'll get some errors, because I heard there's a lot of errors. So we'll definitely see come Friday how much product we really get and how much those singles will come down. I think next week will be a good time to really go over the singles and see how they're performing, and kind of evaluate Ascended Heroes investability moving forward. And you guys made it to the end. Really appreciate you guys, and leave in the comments what Pokemon you're most excited for in Ascended Heroes. And if you're not excited for it, let me know what future set that you are looking forward to, because for me, that Mega Rayquaza is definitely at the top. I think it could potentially be better than the 30th, but this right here really has me convinced that the 30th could actually be insane. So I am very bullish right now on the 30th anniversary. I'm a big gold black color scheme guy, so I'm definitely going to be buying as many of these as possible, and you'll definitely see me repping this hat. So, and yeah, like I said in the last, I think it was the last video. Actually, that was, yeah, I think I did in my last video, but Nidorino is one of my favorite Pokemon. It was my first Pokemon card that I ever got from someone, and this scene kind of just like embodies Pokemon for me. And I'm really excited to see Nidorino getting some time out in the sun, getting represented, because I think he definitely deserves it. He's one of those Pokemon that really resonates with me, and I really appreciate you guys watching the videos, and hope you guys have a great week, and we'll talk to you guys later. Peace.